Alright, now we're recording.
Just cracking.
Why do you look so small?
This is an XL, thank you very much. Actually, that might be an XXL.
I wasn't talking about. I was talking the height of the chair.
Seen them small. Ladies and gents, 2 PTs, 1 podcast. We're back for episode 36 with your hosts, Mike and Myles. COVID regulations right now mean we are back to normal recording and we're not doing it from each other's houses.
Yes.
For as much as Myles doesn't like it. Today we are discussing pain. There's obviously quite a deep dive in terms of the science of pain, but then also the application in terms of fitness and training. Fitness probably not as much more in the training aspect because I don't think you get any pain talking nutrition.
Maybe the mental side of it.
Yeah.
the pain. I'm going to have to give up that custard cream.
Listen back to episode 35.
Yeah.
But no, so training, pain, and your understanding of pain as well, because even at the deepest, well, no, not deepest level, at the most basic level, the feeling of pain between me and Myles for the same sensation of pain could be completely different.
Yes.
Based off many factors in regards to experience, pain threshold, and your actual understanding of pain, which I think is quite, that's the deep part of it.
No, deep part. It could be a long one.
But no, like, we've written down a couple of topics in terms of starting points and in terms of, I think it's injury risk and injury management, which will probably be the biggest two, because a lot of people will tend to ignore pain for the factor of it's their training goal to be like, oh, the age old, no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna swear, but it's a load of. So yeah, in terms of the first one, I think we should really cover not all injury is pain, and not all pain is injury. In terms of, typically for a lot of people, you'll get, I think the majority of people will get lower back pain or shoulder pain within certain discretions and certain points of their life. But that can also translate into how they train and their current working life as well. If you work in an office, sitting poorly, 99% of people are probably going to end up with lower back issues.
Well, it's like a good way to look at pain in general is feedback, is a response to something that may not be or maybe not greater than the slightest and stuff like that. When it comes to, let's say, if you're been in a position for a long period of time, of course you're going to feel a little bit of discomfort on, obviously, like moving in general, because you've been still for a long period of time. But like if you are, like you were saying before, there's different types of pain and stuff like that. When it comes to, obviously, with training, like you can be feeling niggles and stuff like that, and it might just generally not be that, let's say, injuries are happening and stuff like that. It might simply be maybe not optimal mechanics, should we say?
Yeah.
So the first one that comes to my mind is chest press. Straight away, not setting scapula, not setting the shoulder blades, and people pressing with their shoulders and their arms rather than thinking about squeezing their chest. Yeah, people see a lot of movement within that shoulder joint, and it's that overreactive of that muscle constantly being contracted in such a shortened position that causes that irritation. And then obviously you get into the whole tendons and ligament things and stuff like that. But there's loads of, but when you see pain like that, it, like I said, doesn't mean that you just go, right, that's it, stop, move on and stuff like that. You've got to challenge it. You've got to go, right, first of all, how much is this hurting for me? So a lot of things that I tend to ask if the clients obviously ask said to me, oh, I'm feeling this or I'm feeling that, is on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the bloody hell, is this going to kill me or something like that, or my arm's falling off. 10's the highest. And 1's being, nah, it's manageable and stuff like that. And we grade that. And we have a look at why that's obviously happened. We might change some things, whether that's different angles, different variations, different techniques. And we can see we can bring that number down to 1 and stuff like that. It's interesting to look at things from an injury standpoint, because what most people do is when they get an injury, a complete stop. I think resting is the best thing to do. You're being so passive with that it's not going to help you in the slightest. Being proactive and doing something towards moving well, moving without pain, being stronger in that position is going to do a hell of a lot more for you than sitting down on the couch and just hoping that it's just going to magically heal. If so, something's happened.
Yeah, because everything in terms of pain to the body is pretty much going to be a sensory input. In terms of like, you feel something, you hear something, like you could hear something go in your shoulder. It doesn't mean that it's an injury. Yeah. It could just be something cracking. It's not any pain, but that's just a sensory input from your body. Then it's gone straight to your brain and you're now thinking, should that do that? Shouldn't that be doing that?
Yeah, you question it and stuff like that. And the thing is, like we just said before, pain goes a lot deeper into that and stuff like that. And if you're someone who's experienced, let's say, a traumatic injury, let's say a leg break, a constant recurring injury or something like that, the body holds it. Just like mental pain and stuff like that, which we'll obviously get into a later time. Like, your body stores tension, it remembers how it happened and remembers it, and it uses it as a defensive mechanism. So every time you do something, your body's going to coordinate your body to do everything you can to avoid that. It could potentially be leading you to pain in that elsewhere.
You broke a bone?
What's that?
You broke a bone?
I have. I've broken my leg and I've broken my bone. I've broken my nose. Twice, actually. First time unintentional by running into a table. And I was free, by the way. Wasn't recently. The second time, I was 21. It was a reset, so it was to hopefully stop me from snoring. Didn't work. So yeah, and then obviously leg break through football.
Yeah, touch wood. Not actually broke a bone yet.
Lucky you.
Yet anyway. But I think that's also one of the things that you can talk about in terms of your tolerance to pain, because if you go through something like a leg break, you kind of understand the capacity of pain that your body and you can tolerate. Obviously, it's going to be freaking agony, but you've dealt with the highest potential of pain in that respect.
Yeah.
So anything lower within the body, you're like, that's not as bad as a leg break.
Yeah, exactly. But to be fair, actually, you know what we see? I'm sorry for anyone who doesn't want to hear this information, but when it came to actual leg break, that wasn't actually the most painful part about it. When I first broke it, and when I say broke my leg, I broke my I broke the fibula, which is the little one, the weight bearing bone and stuff like that. So unfortunately now I've got metal pins, and I tried standing on it straight away. Like, I was full of endorphins. I was right at the end of the football session, and I remember everyone screaming. I'm going like, "No, don't stand up." I'm thinking, "Why is not?" But I'm fine. I knew my leg felt a little bit heavier than other, so I stood on it. My support just gave, so I fell straight back to the ground. But I still really didn't feel anything, just because, like I said, the endorphins kicked in and stuff. It wasn't until I got to the hospital, and then obviously they said, "Look, you've broken your leg. Your leg's now moved because you're an idiot and you stood on it. You've discomposed your whole ankle." That I was kind of like, it's starting to hurt a little bit now. I wonder why. But then the woman, without giving me any anaesthetics, and when I say woman, I mean the doctor, nurse, literally grabbed my leg and put it back into place. My mum was there, unfortunately, and I don't know who made more noise, me in pain or her realising how much pain I was in. Apparently I made noises that has never been heard before. But yeah, that's the long story of about my life.
But it's the same conversation though, because it's like, you're talking about the adrenaline kicking in from playing football and then you're not feeling any pain, and it's someone doing a chest press, and it's like, you go for a PB and you're in the worst position mechanically to actually do it, but all you're focused about is getting from that barbell from there to there. You're not asked about what's going on here, what's going on here, what's going on everywhere else.
Yeah.
And you hit that PB, and it's like, you've not realised that you've just done a shitload of damage to your ligaments and tendons. I'm like, okay, now I've done the PB, I've got my breath back, my heart rate's decreased. Oh,
yeah.
That doesn't feel right.
No, exactly.
So I think that potentially could lead into an issue on people that just constantly push aggressively on training in terms of adrenaline and cortisol response within the body, actually just sending them so far down a hole in terms of a sensory input and how they perform that the nervous system then doesn't know. the brain then doesn't know, and it's like not until everything's calmed down and everywhere's regulating properly that it's now like, you know what, that shouldn't feel like that.
No, exactly. And like, if you are someone who's, let's say, suffering with lower, let's say, no, I'm not just not going to use lower back. Let's say we just use lower back pain in general and stuff like that. Like, the reason why you might be constantly feeling that pain is because every time you do some kind of movement, your body's been conditioned to use that muscle, and therefore you're overusing it. It's constantly being tired and stuff like that. Go on.
For me, because the issue with lower back is, I think a lot of people have been sucked into the image that it shouldn't be altered, adjusted, not in terms of like me going and being like, rah! Like in terms of like actually going through movements to strengthen the lower back.
Oh,
they wrap themselves like sort of in bubble wrap, and then they get like.
So I'm not that type of person where it's like, if you've got lower back pain, don't do deadlifts. No, don't do deadlifts to make sure you strengthen it up. But it's one of them where it's like, I'm talking about when, let's say you make a movement that's inefficient to use that, let's say them QL muscles and stuff like that lumbar muscle, and your back is instantly engaged instead of trying to use, let's say, your core, your obliques or something, your glutes and stuff like that. Like, it's that inefficient mechanics that's causing the issue there. That's what I kind of mean. And that kind of deals into like, right, well, once I've got this pain and I know what it is, how do you deal with it?
Yeah.
Because people will then, the moment they start feeling a bit of pain, instantly stop. And that's why that scale is so important. Because you can feel a little bit of discomfort, like we were saying before, that like there's lactate threshold and stuff like that. But you can feel the discomfort, and you could, let's say, isometrically, so static contraction, hold that position and get your body more comfortable being in that position and strengthen it in that position. That's one of the ways you can obviously prevent it.
I think it's education in terms of how the body's meant to move, because I think a lot of people look in terms of the spine having to be perfectly straight. It has buffers within there to actually allow it to be able to go through capacitive slight movements. Obviously, I'm not saying look like David Beckham in 2004 trying to bend a free kick in like this.
Yeah, trying to be like 2 years ago when I had my hair really long and stuff like, just look like a little version.
But the respect of understanding how the body's meant to move and like understanding joints, because it's like people look at it, it's like, oh, I've got all this shoulder pain, and it's like, yeah, but it's a ball and socket. The shoulder's allowed to do all these movements.
Yeah.
And the only movements you ever do is a front raise, lateral raise, or a shoulder press. And you go any alteration out of that, I'm not used to this. Oh, this feels like pain.
100%. And like you were just saying before, on the fact of like, if you're not used to that type of pain, or let's say discomfort or movement, you're going to get a feedback.
Yeah.
And something that I explain to my clients all the time, and if any of my clients are listening, they'll get this straight away. And I say to them, it's like, that pain that you feel when you're, let's say you're going through a lift or something like that, that pain might not ever leave or go or something like that. Let's say you're doing like a lift or something. And I'm not talking bad pain, I'm talking just a general overall discomfort. But the actual story that's gone on before you got to that point of change. Let's say you're now able to lift at a heavier load safely.
Yeah.
You're able to do a different type of variation of exercise, different things. Like, it's that understanding that pain is part of the actual occlusion. You need to feel some kind of discomfort and pain before getting to the actual part of thing and achieving well.
Yeah.
Because if we think about, let's say even down to a cellular level and stuff like that, in order for a muscle to grow, it needs to be broken down. It needs to obviously have built-up inflammatory. It obviously needs them proteins to be built up and stuff before recovering to either obviously have potentially better cellulite or obviously a bigger capacity, which then obviously goes into neural stuff and all that, which then is another question, and I think would go down a massive rabbit hole.
Yeah, because what you picked off then, I did like two hands, and it's like there's pain and there's discomfort, and the fact of like if you're training for anything to develop strength or develop hypertrophy to building muscle, there's going to be a certain degree of you're providing stress to the body for it to adapt to, running off what you just said. But the stress and then there's breaking point.
Oh yeah.
You want to be more towards a stress point and finding the right level of stress that you're not causing a breaking point, because structurally your body will go more than if you're trying to push it to that absolute level, and that even at not a joint level, it's going to be taxing nervous system wise. So we're going to push more towards, you're going to have to take more breaks from pushing that ever bit more aggressively. So it's finding the balance.
That's where periodization comes into it and stuff, and that's where, like, if you're training, you can't constantly go for that on top. Like, what's the word I'm trying to think? You can't keep going to that always next level. You don't go for a 1 rep max every time and stuff like that. Now, the perceive of effort is different. Like, you can go into a session and feel hard, but then that comes more from a psychological type of fatigueness or pain rather than a structured one.
Because even breaking that down from what you just said, the perception of me training how many years at a basic level and now me training at my current level is a complete different comparison. My ability to recover at this current point and deal with the pain or the discomfort is a lot higher, because I know that the potential of the stress that I can actually tolerate physically and mentally is a lot better. So I'm not going to come into someone that's just new to training and be like, right, okay,
a little bit lift.
Yes, and like I'm not going to come in and just be just take the shortcut option and just say, okay, just train to failure for everything, because that's one way of stress, but it's also the perception of what the person deems as failure. Because my deem of failure is I complete reps, or I complete the last rep with 90% form. Past that point, I'm going to start breaking down and structurally.
But then that's obviously going down the level of, let's say, intent. And the thing is, with a level of intent, depending on what kind of training, you'll go for hypertrophy. Yeah, you go past that bit. You go past the point where you start noticing, like, speed of the bar, dumbbell starts moving, slowing down. You'll pretty much go to the point where your body can't move that much because you need that mechanical stress. If you're looking like, let's say, speed developments, speed strength, where you're trying to move things a lot quicker, the moment that bar speed drops, you end it because you're looking for that quality of reps. So that would be off tangent as always.
But even with that, like, you could adapt the training in accordance to how much the person perceivably deals with pain and deals with discomfort.
Yeah.
Like, if someone's, like, not trying to offend anyone, if anyone's like really low pain threshold, I'm not going to be like, okay, we're going to push hypertrophy muscular failure, because you're going to be like, you're going to get to 50% of what I typically expect and be like, oh yeah, no, I'm not going to be there like trying to freaking move the dumbbells for you with your arms there, because there's no point. There's no point in me putting that implementation into a client. Whereas something where they're within a comfortable range, which perceivably could still create hypertrophy to a certain extent, because I think a lot of people just think, oh, it's a hellish amount of volume, and that's the only thing that's going to create.
No, there's always more to it and stuff like that. But one of the biggest things with hypertrophy is that mechanical stress aspect. Yeah.
But like, I feel like, because a lot of my training now is working strength stuff, I can still put muscle on.
Oh yeah, you can still put it on. But there's like when you're working within strength, there's sometimes when you're working in that strength aspect and stuff like that, seeing some sports, you want to increase that strength without increasing any muscle mass. So you're looking from a neurological aspect of it.
Because then you change this, like an MMA fighter. I was gonna compare an MMA fighter to a jockey then. I'm like, not quite the same aspects. Because the implementation of the training, it's like, yeah, they want to get stronger as a jockey to be able to freaking just ride better. But an MMA fighter is not working to strength as much to the extent that we're working to explosiveness.
Yeah.
But that's a requirement of the sport, to be explosive and strong while still trying to stay in a weight class, which could make the disparity between the sport quite big. Footballers, not asked. They need to be quick, they need to be strong.
I think, to be fair, any athlete that are faster and stronger is going to be a better athlete.
Oh yeah, but then the considerations for them to be in a weight class, obviously I'm not going to say like, oh, put someone up to freaking 120 kilos just to make them as strong as possible.
I mean, I'll be a round ball if I was 120 kilos.
I know. It's like the application of like, where does it tie in terms of how you're applying it. But then also, that's also one thing we can mention as well, in terms of the fact that we're talking about the aspects of pain to training to a footballer. Like, I like football, but everyone goes down like a sack of shit. And so the pain tolerance I perceive to footballers is a lot lower, which could represent the training as well. If you said to a rugby player...
You're staring on some really muddy water there now.
But even with a rugby player, you're talking about someone that literally runs into another person for a living.
Yeah, no, but that's what we were saying beforehand and stuff like that. Like, you get someone who's never played rugby before, if we're using that example here, and like, you get him to run against a bloke who's like 16 stone, 6'5", of course it's going to fucking hurt. But it's like, if you've got someone who's used to that kind of battering, so like boxers, they take a beating purposely, alright, so that pain threshold becomes in, because once they get punched in the face, then they need to react. They need to be responsive, even though they're still feeling a lot of pain and stuff like that.
Please be advised, do not go through any prep training for training to improve your training potential by getting punched in the face. That is a big one. We do not recommend this on 2P2 podcast.
No. Please train responsibly.
Don't get smacked.
It's just, don't listen to us.
But no, so like, we've gone over not all pain is injury, not all injury is pain. But then I think the mental thing of a lot of it is, because we mentioned pre-podcast in terms of like, you can deal with a pain twice, and the second time might not be as painful as the first.
Yeah,
like
but because mentally, I did say to him, if he did try pinching me, I will punch him. But that's the thing is, like, even like a mental side and stuff like that. Let's say, for example, like, you've tried a certain number on a lift, you didn't get it, and for some odd reason you hurt your back in the process. I keep using back, but I'm going to...
It's a difficult one, though.
Yeah, but it's like, we use that. You go back to that number. You know you're a lot stronger. You know your technique's a lot better. But for some odd reason, psychologically, you just can't do it because you think it's going to happen. Like, it sounds so simple just to say, just do it. But it's not. It's not as simple as that and stuff like that. And that's why when you do look at all this in total, you have to split the comparisons between physical pain and mental pain, because there are when you do look at like anything when it comes to training loads, recovery, anything in that kind of nature and stuff like that, you have to look at them too and stuff like that, because you might get someone who's very fresh regardless, but they're mentally, should we say, fatigued. Yeah. They've got stuff on, they've got stress. And remember, stress is stress. Like, regardless if it's good stress, like working out and stuff like that, you're doing endorphins, or you got bad stress because, I don't know, your missus is telling you off from putting dishes in a bin, I don't know, and stuff like that. You see what I kind of mean?
Yeah, because it's one of them things where you're not going to implement putting more stress on the body. Like, a lot of my online guys, before I even start implementing more aggressive training, I need them, is a figure of speech, it's going to be saying clean the house first. Like, get everything organised in terms of, if you've got a lot of stress on, if nutrition's poor, if your sleep's terrible, I'm not going to come in and say, okay, we need to be pushing for 1 rep maxes at 95%. Because it's not the optimal way of doing it, and the potential to reach that even greater level with that is going to be poor. You're just adding more to the jug added as opposed to a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. We like to use the cup analogy and stuff like, think of yourself as, if you can see this grenade bottle.
Not sponsored ad.
Grenade is now our non-sponsor for this video. I don't really like this one. White chocolate. This is the worst flavour you could possibly have.
That's the best one.
No.
What are you saying?
Well, anyway, so imagine you are this bottle. You're in this imaginary bottle. You don't have to be a grenade one. You could be your favourite mug if you really wanted to. But there's only
physical glass.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a clear glass over here. Anyway, gets back to my point. But there's only so much you can hold, and people, everything that goes on in life, whether that's home, whether that's sports, whether that's gym, whether that's anything, any decision that you make, let's say, there's only so much that you can hold before that comes overfilled. And when it's overfilled, it's too late. Then usually things happen, breakdowns happen, so like injuries happen, stuff like that. So it's good to be manageable. It's good to be prioritizing majority and stuff like that. It's good to be aware. So a task that I gave to one of my clients recently and stuff like that, who felt like they were very stressed and they felt like they had a lot of things to do, was write down everything that's going on, everything that comes to their mind regarding anything stress, and then again rate that from a 1 to 10, obviously 1 being low, 10 being the highest.
Yeah.
And the idea of it is that it's there, it's in front of you. There's something different because we're all visual creatures. Something different when we actually see something regarding to thinking something, so we become more aware of it. Then the next question on top of that is, right, how can we do anything quickly just to minimise them? So can we just make them 1 lower? Is there anything that, in the grand scheme of things, if you put a 3, is it really a 3? On the ground, if you look at that, right, let's eliminate that and stuff like that. And the idea is that we're slowly diminishing what's in this cup so we can allow other things to go into it.
Because I thought you were actually going to go off on something else in terms of the same. It's one of the guys that does SAS Who Dares Wins, not Foxy. And it's on a video where he's basically talking about all the stresses in your life, and everyone will have stresses regardless, and you stressing about stress.
Yeah.
Write everything down, look at everything, and be like, right, what can you control within that list?
Yeah.
If you can't,
there's another way of looking at it as well.
If you can't control something on that list, why are you stressing about it? It's just one of them things.
Yeah. And if it's something that you can't control it of, is there an aspect you can control of it? Whether that's like, if it's a family member, can you respond? How can you control the way that you respond to it?
Yeah, that's a big thing in people's stress response as well. Like, I used to be like that a lot with my old job.
I thought you were going to say like someone else's family.
No.
My mum.
No, because I used
to
do customer service, and obviously we used to get reviewed as well. Like, it would be like a live chat. So if you do write a bad review and everything else, and you rate the person,
Mike will get stressed.
Yeah,
so,
well, I used to.
Yeah.
They can see what you say, and then also, if you do try to them one day and you come back on the same laptop, you will come through to the same person. Remember that as well.
So anyone who's shopping at Sainsbury's, you've been warned. My protein.
I'm plugging my protein secret tips here, but so yeah,
you've been warned.
When I first started, I'd got like really on the offensive if someone left me a bad review. But then it was sometimes when it was about something that was not even in my control. The freaking best one would be like, "Hi, yeah, I ordered something. I sent it to the wrong address and it's been delivered. What can you do about it?" Like, absolutely nothing. We've fulfilled a job. We've sent the package to the place that you sent it. You've got to go and collect it. Well, it's halfway down the country. Like, you put in the address. It even says, "Please confirm the address." Yes, I've confirmed the address. So past that point, is our job fulfilled. You're terrible help. Terrible service. I'm like, what do you want? And I was like, what would you want me to do? And that happened on the first couple of days I was starting. I was like really pissed off after and everything else. Got to when I was just about to finish, the same thing happened again. I was like,
what can you do about it?
Management comes to you. "Oh, you've got a bad review. Explain the situation." Okay, yeah, fair enough. You can't do anything. The same happens with a lot of people in terms of their response. And what happens with other people in their life as well. This is going quite a lot of pain. But in terms of your perception of pain is going to always add to be something higher when something else is going on in the background. If, like, you wake up and you forgot to put fuel in your car when you're already you're late for work, that's going to piss you off even more than if you woke up early and you're like, "Oh, God, fuel in the car."
Well, there's a saying, isn't there? They're saying that most pain comes from when you're not living in the present moment. So either you're living at the back or you're living in front.
Yeah.
And it's very true. So it's a lot of it is, first of all, obviously focus on things we can control. Mm-hmm. But then that means staying present with it all. If it's something that you can do right here, right now, like, let's deal with that. Something small, just to start the ball rolling, stuff like that. If you've got an injury, most injuries, you could do something about that. Whether it's a small thing of, right, making sure you're eating right to recover right, doing something actively to make sure that you're recovering. Remember, some stimulus is even better. Like, there's always something you can do. And if you're one of these people that goes, "I can't do this because of this," that is an act of choice rather than an actual nature by law. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because I've had PT clients in the past where they've come in because it's the application of them dealing around a certain issue. And obviously, I'm not in the scope of a physiotherapist. I'm not going to go in there and do manual manipulations. I will make manipulations through training. And it's like, the obvious one at the time was, it was the application of training whereby he was in the bottom position of a press. Execution and everything else had been changed and set up optimally, but he had zero strength within that position, and we were trying to build his strength up back over time. Case study, Smith machine, reverse band.
Shut up, Siri.
Why is Siri come up with case study?
Which one?
No, not which one. We don't.
But that's the same application in terms of, you can't look at pain in terms of something that's debilitating. You look at something that you work with. You figure out what's caused the pain, why the pain has been caused, and how is the manipulation of your training and everything else that you do on a day-to-day going to help you navigate that pain. Because pain isn't just a thing of internal pain. When you haven't been stabbed, is something that you...
It's just fuck. I was thinking it's like being stabbed. It's like, well, he's been watching too many murder scenes recently.
Well, unless you go and stab yourself.
We do not advise that. Before anything, we do not advise that.
But oh god, I'm gonna keep this thought in my head. Unless you get stabbed, all the pain that you're gonna get is something that's been caused internally by something that you have done. You can look at the thing that has happened and be like, right, okay, if I move within a certain position during a lateral raise, I get pain. Unless someone has stabbed you in the shoulder, that is something that you have done yourself through a movement, how you've slept, how you've positioned yourself at certain points of the day. That will mean that something can be adjusted, or a movement can be adjusted to get around that problem or to work with the problem. Because it might even just be one of them things where, oh, I'm doing a lateral raise in this position, which might not be the best position that you're doing anyway. So it's like, okay, something might need to be changed with this. So recordings in the gym is a great one for coaches to learn, and they see positions, but then it's also a big one of, a lot of the time when I do work with clients, I'll be like, how did that feel? That's a massive question in terms of, I could see you doing a lateral raise, unless you play poker really well, 99% of the time, I can see it on people's faces how they respond. And don't laugh at that, because you know that's true.
That's very true, though. And to be fair, though, when you first said that, I was like, where is he going with this?
It's just, you see through the expressions on people's faces how they are during a movement. If it's going to failure, generally you're going to get the one where everyone starts squinting because it's getting quite hard. If it looks like you're in pain, I'm going to come to you and be like, what was wrong with that? Or was something wrong with that? If you're just breathing, I know you're just out of breath. I'm not going to come in and try and make it any more difficult. I'm just be like, how did that feel? Any issues? If not, great. We then know we can either look at it in terms of optimising that movement within the range, or do we need to progressively work to increase that load? Increasing the load, if it gets too difficult, discomfort, okay, we assess it.
And that's not even just talking about within the session as well. Like, if you've done something and you're starting to feel pain later on and stuff like that, like some people comes back to you and they go, it feels like a workout, it really hurt the next day and stuff like that. Remember, DOMS is a type of pain, but that doesn't mean anything. You can still have a great session without DOMS, vice versa and stuff like that. And if it is really that bad the next day, you just control the variation of volume and intensity. But sometimes, like the body itself is a very, very complicated complex, and like sometimes you'll just feel pain.
Yeah,
like you'll just be sitting there, and then all of a sudden your calf will just start twitching, and you'll just start feeling some discomfort with that. So, just it's like I said, just literally, just like everything that does with pain doesn't mean. It's how we perceive it. Pain, just because something's painful or just because something is associated with pain, doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
But one thing that's struck through my head is like, you know, when you just like, every now and again, you just get that random little murmur in your heart. We're like, oh my god, it's time, I'm gonna die. And then, okay, no, I'm fine.
Exactly. It's like I had my booster recently. I said recently, a good few weeks ago now. I know the woman straight away was like, if you feel any kind of heart pain, any heartburn, ring 999 recently. And literally about 2 hours later, I ran to get someone from a client, and my heart was like proper bad. I was like, this is it. This is where the legacy of Myles Harrison goes. Please tell my family I love them.
Oh, okay, no.
Now, half an hour later, I was like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm just unfit.
It's just one of them when you get like a pain and you just burp and you're like, oh, okay, no, that's nothing.
It's stuff like that. But yeah, to be fair, like, I think we like I said, we always can go a little bit more into detail when it comes to stuff like that. But I think we hit quite a lot of the home points when it comes to pain and stuff like that. Before we go on any tangents and Mike goes on.
Hey, my analogies were fantastic today. You can't even sleep, man. I got the stabbing one was a bit off topic maybe, but it got the point across. The poker face one is fantastic. I've never PT'd a poker player in my life because I don't know if I'm going to do a good job or not.
And on that note, right guys, this has been the 2PTs1 podcast with your two co-hosts, Mike Ellis and Myles Harrison. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. We've obviously enjoyed talking about this topic because it is a very interesting one to talk about. But if you guys have any questions about this topic, about pain or anything regarding to do with that, by all means contact us on our social medias. All the details will be on our bio. But if you are listening to this on a Spotify, please give us a rating and following us. It really helps us grow the podcast. And vice versa on YouTube. If you're YouTube, make sure you're subscribing, liking, share this with anyone and stuff like that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I love how my knee cracked.
I'm in pain!
Oh, no, it's okay. It's fine.